Hi, I'm Brian Anderson and this is Coast Connections. What would you like to know about tourism? With me tonight I've got three guests. So Henry Traa, who's with Coast Bastion Hotel and the Nanaimo Hospitality Association. Dave Petryk, who's with Tourism Association of Vancouver Island. And Karen Bannister, who's a marketing consultant with Tourism Nanaimo. I think you have a better title than that, but...
Consumer marketing specialist.
Okay, so there you go. So there's some news. We got a press release about a partnership, I guess, with the City of Nanaimo and the Tourism Association. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. The City of Nanaimo approached us to see if we would help them out through a transitionary period to do the destination marketing and destination development for the City of Nanaimo. So we entered into a 12 to 15 month contract with the city. To do that, we hired some great staff like Karen to uplift tourism Nanaimo and really focus on selling Nanaimo as a great tourism destination that it is.
So Karen, your primary job is the selling?
Yep, I'm focused entirely on Nanaimo, so the creation of the marketing plan and then the execution on the day-to-day basis.
Okay. So Henry, I understand you have another cap that you wear, and that's with the Tourism Advisory Committee with the city.
Well, that's right. You know, I also, when you're in this industry, you get caught up in some of these boards, and this one I really wanted to be part of, to work with the city to see if we can find another solution to help sell our city, to come up with another tourism model for the city to help us market Nanaimo.
So you've been working on that for a little while?
We've been working on that now for about 2.5, probably 2 months now. We're getting close to our end right now with our facilitators. We've hired a company, 2031. They're right now trying to put a model together for us. There is a group of us that are waiting for this proposal, and we're probably going to take that proposal to the industry, see what they think of it, and see if that's going to work for us here in Nanaimo.
And I mean, obviously, if there's work to be done, Dave, you're going to be throwing in a bid, or?
Well, it will really depend on what the consultants and the Tourism Advisory Committee come up with as a recommendation. You know, we're pretty excited about the work that we've been doing in partnership with the city and the Nanaimo Hospitality Association. The results that we're seeing, I think, are super positive. We've been building really strong relationships with the tourism industry. But really, it depends on what the consultants' report makes for recommendations and what the Tourism Advisory Committee lands on and what the city's interested in. If they are interested in continuing contract work with us playing some role, we're absolutely very interested in continuing on.
You know, I know for myself, as part of the Nanaimo Hospitality Association also, third hat, we all have to wear a few hats. You know, I have to tell you that as a hotelier, it's been a banner year for us. We're extremely happy what we've seen so far in our results. We work very closely with Tavi, especially with Karen, with the marketing, and they kept us abreast on everything that's happened so far. We meet on a pretty well, you can say, twice a month basis there. We have never had so much information thrown at us, what's happening out there. But what I'm surprised about is how well the market's doing. It's, for a hotelier, our summer was just an amazing year this year. If we can have this every summer, there's no complaints for us, that's for sure. Kept a lot of people employed. The hotel's been full. We were running 95% occupancies. Some hotels are running 96% occupancies out there. So it's been a great year for us.
Oh, that's good. Because I know one of the challenges has always been that there's, 600,000 people, or my numbers may be old, going out to the West Coast, and we really want them to spend an extra day here, or increase that. If it's 2 days, so much the better.
Well, I know as a hotelier, I put my Coast Bastion hat on. We have a lot of one-day stays right now because we are a hub in some ways. A lot of people like to come here. They like to go to Tofino from here. They like to go to Mount Washington. They like to go to, Goats on the Roof. Goats on the Roof. They like to go to all these different places, Parksville. But they also like to come back also to a nice place. So they have come back to Nanaimo for an overnight stay. Our job is to find out how can we get people to stay for 2 and 3 nights and be more like, if it's you want to call it a Victoria or somewhere else, so we get them to stay a little bit longer.
Yeah. So when you're marketing something like Nanaimo, I guess the work that you're doing, you've got a new web page, and you've got advertising that's now just starting to run. So what's the target market for that, or who are you trying to approach?
Well, we're looking at, and I just want to say to follow up on what Henry was saying about being, Victoria and Tofino, we're also one of the things that we did when we first took on the contract was take a look at our positioning and our branding and positioning within the sort of Vancouver Island as a brand in total. And one of the things we want to work within is that we recognize that people do want to come to the island, and maybe they want to stay in Nanaimo, but also visit other parts of the island. And so Nanaimo is really geographically well placed to actually enable people to do that, because you can stay really nicely, affordably, conveniently, and comfortably in Nanaimo, and then take all of these different various day trips. So that's been a really central part of our marketing campaign, is really underlining the fact that it's an affordable destination, it's an accessible destination, and it's a place that you can stay in the heart of Vancouver Island and really experience all of the different other areas of Vancouver Island. And so we do look at the research that we have in our own files, and also the research that Tourism Vancouver Island has done to recognize that our primary demographic are 45 plus. There are people that are traveling to the island without kids, couples in general, and it's not to say that we don't market to other communities outside of that demographic, but that is one of our primary focuses, and we're interested as a community destination marketing organization on BC and Alberta visitors.
And I guess that's, Henry, you hit on one point, because talking about occupancy rates, because some people have been somewhat critical of the, I guess, the hotel that was to go down next to the convention center, and that sort of went sideways, but I understand there's now a new proponent interested in going there.
So you ask the hotelier, do you want another hotel being built? I said that's always an interesting question, because as a hotelier, do I want to have competition next door? I think there's nothing better than to, if somebody wants to invest money into Nanaimo and build another property right next door to you and compete with you. I think that's great for Nanaimo. I think that's great for the market. You can't be scared of competition. But I think the more you build like that, you'll get different quality of people coming to Nanaimo and staying in Nanaimo. Whoever's going to build will do very well for sure in the summer months. The trick is, what can we do in the shoulder months when it gets a little quieter? Can they keep the occupancies going the way they should to make sure they're successful? And right now we're seeing that. We have a great September coming up. September and October both look like they're going to be great months also for Nanaimo. So I don't see how another hotel would not do well.
Well, that's a key point, because the shoulder seasons for Nanaimo has always been, say, a tough market or a tougher market. So Dave, do you have any sort of experience, or what could be done to sort of try and fill that void?
Yeah, well, that's our prime opportunity, really, is to extend the season beyond the typical May through September and get more visitation in October, November, more visitation in the early parts of spring. We've got lots of product or experiences, tourism experiences within that Nanaimo 360, what you can see around Nanaimo. It's a matter of being in the marketplace at the right time, delivering those messages, and that's why the majority of the marketing efforts that we're doing, and Karen can certainly expand on this, we've targeted our advertising to be late in the summer, early fall, and then again in the late part of winter and early spring, so that we're actually targeting sending the message out to consumers to come visit in those shoulder seasons.
Well, that's a good idea. So with that focus, you mentioned other areas, because I've seen an ad on TV that talks about Oceanside, or Comox. And I think those are really great ads, because it's got the little box with what looks like elements.
That'd be Tourism Vancouver Island's Find Your Elements campaign.
Yeah. Right.
That's our island-wide annual campaign that we do, which is very, very well received and getting extremely good results. But I think Karen can expand on the fact that you're going to be seeing some pretty strong Nanaimo-based television advertising coming up on Global very soon.
Yeah, we've actually, it's great that you recognize that, because we're working with the Tourism Vancouver Island brand in the sense of building on that kind of brand recognition to put our own Nanaimo message out there. So we'll be on Global starting in about 2 weeks. So we'll have our own campaign running on Global in both this upcoming fall as well as spring. So.
And I guess that's sort of important for locals or the people that live here, because we all have friends that come to visit, and it's always good to keep up on, you know, what's new or where to take people or what to do, because sometimes you don't have an answer to that question. So if you could give us that answer, that would be great.
Yeah, we recognize the value of the locals and having them be really engaged. It builds civic pride, in addition to we recognize that people come here from other places to stay with their friends and family. And we just finished running a campaign that was local focused, where we asked the residents to give their ideal 48 hours in the city. And so 2 women just took advantage of that this past weekend, and they came, one woman came over from Vancouver on Helijet and experienced a Nanaimo vacation with her friend who lives here, and it was a really well-received contest.
Good. You were going to say something.
You know, when you do these kind of commercials and you're going out to the market, and especially for the locals when they see it, what really helps us is not just getting that individual consumer. It also helps you get in that local meeting business also coming to Nanaimo, because they realize that there's more to just having a meeting in Nanaimo. There's other things to do here, and that helps a lot. It's not just bringing that customer for that spring jaunt, whatever you want to come in for a one-night stay, but it does help our meeting business a lot, especially when they're looking for something to do. They're coming because they see these commercials, they see what happens in our area, and it just helps. It just builds momentum. It's great.
Now, as a newer piece of infrastructure, the Helijet, have you noticed any sort of impact from that, or?
Oh, for sure. We see Helijet being used a lot. Our consumer loves to be able to go from Vancouver to here in 15, 20 minutes. It's not even just Helijet, it's the Harbour Air. It's both those companies that they're bringing people here. They're full, the flights are full. People are staying at our hotels because of that, and for the convenience. And when they come to our hotel, they can't believe that you're in a harbor, in Nanaimo, from 20 minutes from downtown Vancouver. So it's a great way to help market our city.
Yeah, I think one of the really cool things is, you know, from a destination marketing point of view, the fact that we are an island makes us really strong in the consumer's eyes, because they feel that crossing that body of water is almost like going overseas. It's a real getaway. It's a real escape, as opposed to traveling from Vancouver to the interior, where you're doing it by road and you really don't feel like you've got away. The fact that we're on an island is a real asset, but the access challenges are really important too, because we've got to make it really easy for the consumer. And the fact that Helijet is on board, Harbour Air's got so many flights a day, of course BC Ferries, we've got lots of really great access for those people from British Columbia and Alberta, which are our primary markets.
Yeah, personally I was disappointed to see the fast ferry basically back out, because that was a phenomenal facility. I can remember going over for BC Lions football game, and they basically had a bus there, took you up to the game, brought you back, ferry came over. It was really slick, and I think having something like that has access downtown to downtown would be phenomenal. But I think we'll see that.
Opportunity for that being renewed, and really, you know, sometimes it's a supply and demand question. Yeah. Once you start building the demand, it makes it more feasible for an entrepreneur to start that type of service. And you know, our demand is growing now, so I think that opportunity starts surfacing a little bit more than it has in the past.
Okay. So what's next? What's the plan for next year? You know, you mentioned spring advertising again to try and create interest for the shoulder season. Anything else that's specific?
Well, I know for us for next year, I mean, we're concentrating, working hard with with all the partners out there, and that means if you're working with our convention center, if you're working with TAVI, with Tourism Nanaimo, trying to find a way to keep bringing more people to Nanaimo and getting them away from some of these busier spots and showing them we're open for business, we're ready for them. And I think next year it also looks like it's going to be a great year for us. All the indications tells us the next summer it's going to be another banner year, and we're looking forward to it.
In our marketing strategy, basically, Tourism Vancouver Island's contract with the city to do the destination marketing carries through till the end of March. So our plans presently have all kinds of different marketing activities between now and the end of March. And then we look forward beyond then to see what kind of things we can activate as well. But the nice thing is we're doing some really good conversion research to see how our marketing experiences, marketing efforts are actually resulting in conversion to get travelers here. So we're going to have some really strong information in the later part of fall that really tells us what advertising, whether digital marketing's working, social's working, television's working. We'll be much more clear on what's working the best. But I think Karen can expand on, we're doing a whole lot of digital marketing right now and some really good social media and blogging that I think, the average person here doesn't necessarily see because we're targeting those external markets. But there's a lot going on there.
So digital marketing, what's that? Is that on the line?
Yeah.
On the line.
Just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm more up to date than that.
It is website marketing. So we do a couple of different types of ads. So when you Google, some of the other communities on Vancouver Island, and you get an ad for Nanaimo, that's a result of the campaigns that we're running. When you go to your favorite website, your favorite news outlet, and you see an ad for Nanaimo, that's a result of our efforts as well. And our reporting so far shows that we are actually performing above average on all of our digital advertisements so far. So we're really excited to see that trend continue and even improve as we tweak to sort of, that's the nice thing about digital is you change things on the fly.
Oh, okay. So does that give you feedback as to what people are looking at and how long they look at it, that type of thing?
Yeah, you can find a wealth of information from digital advertising. When you can tell if they've clicked on the ad and then how long they've spent on the website. We can see if they've exited our website to go to one of our stakeholder websites, which we track as well to be able to show our partners how we're supporting tourism for them as well. So there's a lot of information that we are actively mining to try to learn more about our customer.
Because in some respects, marketing is somewhat of a, I don't know, I would say maybe warm and fuzzy activity, but because I'm a numbers guy, and Henry's probably a numbers guy. So if you can come back with numbers, that really proves something, isn't that something you're looking for?
I mean, you want to see data, you want to see actual, real data also. Are people, when they're coming to Nanaimo, are they using Newcastle? Are they going out there? Are they using the ferry to go out there? Are they going to Gabriel? Are they using all the different facilities around here? You can get a lot of information from a lot of people once you get that data, and it works. I know it works because we use the analytics, as they call it out there, a lot, even for our hotel guests. How they book our hotels. Are they using their phones? Are they using a map still, or whether how they're doing it? It's still over my head, some of it. We all, not because of the age, but it's, the younger people seem to grasp on a lot of it a little bit better, but you have to be out there.
Do you still like that view with the room?
You know what? I moved here 2 years ago because of that view of the room out there. When I see the harbor from our hotel, it's beautiful. And I moved to Nanaimo because of it.
It's a good catchphrase, and actually one of the best marketing catchphrases that's out there is, we'll leave the light on for you.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's funny because something that's just a little something just provides I guess a big warm and fuzzy feeling. But
well, and you want to keep things going. So when you see the business coming into Nanaimo, I think everybody has to realize everybody has to help out in the community to keep these customers coming back. We can't just do it ourselves by our marketing or people staying in hotels, but it's the citizens of Nanaimo too that have to be out there welcoming our guests out here too. And that means if we have to fix up our downtown areas, we have to get out there, make things look better, more inviting. There's a lot of work that has to be done right now to keep people activated or keep them, wanting to come back
and
connected. And that's big.
And there's a great example, too, of one of the partnerships between the Hospitality Association and Tourism Vancouver Island and Tourism Nanaimo is the Nanaimo Hospitality Partnership, which is where we do train with the volunteer program citizens of Nanaimo to go out and greet cruise ships and be a part of different events and that kind of thing. So there is a lot of that work happening as well.
I was just going to mention that because I think this year was the first time I saw an ambassadors program where it actually put out the word that if people were in blue jackets, you know, they were the ones to go to for information. So that's a real bonus.
That's a great example of partnerships, because that was a partnership of the Nanaimo Hospitality Association, Tourism Nanaimo through the Destination Development Fund, and the City of Nanaimo working together, and the cruise ship Port Authority working together to build that program to fill the gap and make sure that we were able to meet and greet our visitors. So great example of a partnership that's worked really, really well.
And Harbor Air as well.
Well, that's right, because even for hotels, I mean, people always say, well, if the cruise ships are coming in, what do we get out of it as a hotelier? But we know people are going to come back and visit Nanaimo if they had a good experience. Yeah. And we've talked to the people from the cruise ships, and that's what we hear. So, I mean, we're all in to take care of these guests and try to get some more cruise ships also to come in, so we can get more people to come back after, the ships.
You got to recognize you build on things.
You build on it.
Yeah.
And one of the exciting things is you alluded to people inviting their relatives and their friends to come visit. One of the exciting things to a marketer is we've always known the most effective and efficient form of marketing is word of mouth. But now with social media, word of mouth has expanded exponentially, where it's so easy for people, our local residents, to be talking to their friends and family about Nanaimo through social media, and for our visitors that have a good experience to be talking about that experience. So we can really expand on that to a large degree.
That's right, because I remember seeing pictures on Facebook or something with people posing with Mounties in their red serge, greeting a cruise ship. So every little bit helps.
Absolutely.
Well, they can now take pictures with me crabbing on the dock. I had to throw that in because Dave was waiting for it, so I'm throwing it in there. So.
Well, and Shaw had a show that featured you crabbing on the dock, so we get our own plug as well.
Oh, that's right.
So you mentioned something earlier about, you sort of touched on jobs. Now in the hospitality sector, it's very sort of people-oriented as far as, staff and that sort of thing. Is it easy to get the staff, or are you having problems?
We're okay. Well, there's I guess that's two answers to that one. One is we have a great ambassador program right now in our hotel. We have so many of our ambassadors being there from 32 years now to 2 years. So we have a lot of employees, ambassadors being there for a long time, but we're always short in the summer months for sure for certain departments. There's just not enough out there to get enough help, and we do need more help. And there's something has to help all the hotels for that need.
Because I think a lot of places that I go, I run into servers or whatever, and there's a lot of people that are either from Australia or Alberta. So
It's the lure of the island.
So.
The lure of the island.
There's so much opportunity, because we are running into, and it will continue on into the future, a bit of a labor crunch in the entire hospitality industry. And we really need to promote the opportunities, especially to the young, of the types of jobs that people can get into in the hospitality industry that can lead to some very, very good skill sets. And I often think of, being a hospitality guy myself, I often think of, wouldn't it be nice if some of the offices you went into, the greeter there had spent some time as a server or a hostess or a front desk clerk and learned customer service, because a lot of times in different sectors we don't get the same kind of hospitality that we see. So great learning opportunity for the young people to get into hospitality.
And VIU has a good hospitality program. So that's really good. We're down to about a minute left. I told you it would go quickly. Does anybody have anything you'd like to say as a final comment?
Well, for myself, as a final comment, I mean, I know for our occupancies and things like that, for the hotel, as a hotelier, we had a great summer. Worked very well with the Hospitality Association, worked very well with TAVI and Tourism Nanaimo, and let's hope we can have another great summer coming up.
I guess I could just say that for our locals watching, that at Tourism Nanaimo is on our social handle, so follow along on social media.
And you have a webpage, www.tourismnanaimo.ca.
Yep, brand new website.
Okay.
And I'd love to say to the viewers that please be an ambassador of tourism for Nanaimo. It's the local residents that can really tell their friends and family about what a great place this is and realize the benefits that we all derive from tourism, because a lot of the things that we like to see and do every day are the result of tourists.
That's right.
Okay. So Dave, Karen, and Henry, thank you for joining us, and this has been Coast Connections. I'm Brian Anderson. Good night.